A few weeks ago, Tech360 reached out to me asking me if I wanted to review anything that they could get their hands on. So I asked them for the TicWatch Pro 2020, and I've been using it for about 2 weeks now. Well, an Android smartwatch is like a whole other layer being added to an already well thought out ecosystem. This ecosystem being Android and Google. But it gets you thinking, is an Android smartwatch still relevant in 2020? Well, I'm here today to answer that very question. This is the TicWatch Pro 2020. I'm your host Thiru, and welcome to a brand new episode of Random Review Squad. Many people argue that there's no need for a smartwatch in this day and age because the watches are just far too slow and kind of can't keep up with the smartphones. Now, I would normally agree with that statement, but the TicWatch Pro 2020 is special. Why? Because of its price. Most of the Android smartwatches out there are actually about $500 to $700. Well, ones with this amount of capability anyways. The TicWatch is only $399, and that's why it's a serious contender for Android smartwatches. I'm sure many of you haven't heard of the TicWatch brand. You'll be like, what the hell is TicWatch? Well, it's like the OnePlus of smartwatches. It's like a flagship killer for smartwatches. It's got an amazing set of specifications accompanied by a very lightweight price. Well, if it's the first ever smartwatch you're going to be buying, then yeah, $400 might eat into your pocket a little bit. But if you compare it to all its counterparts and all its competition, the TicWatch kind of comes out top because of its price mainly. Now this review is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be like a normal, specs filled kind of thing. Well, there will be specs of course, but it's more of like how I would use the smartwatch and why it is relevant to this day. Well, yeah, it's to prove a certain point. Now for the past 2 weeks, I started the day with a very simple routine, and part of it was wearing the TicWatch. So I got up, got out of bed, wore the TicWatch, and ready to go. Of course, I brushed my teeth and all that but you get the idea. I actually use the Google Assistant to turn off my lights most of the time, even though I do have a Google Home, but there is a functionality in the watch, so why not? Especially when I'm leaving the house and my Google Home can't hear me. So, if I forget to turn off the lights, I can just use my watch. It worked well with quick understanding of the words, and it replied with a pretty good loudspeaker on the watch.
Turn off my room lights.
Sure, turning 2 lights off.
The TicWatch Pro has a plastic body, a steel bezel, and Gorilla Glass as the watch face glass. And of course a leather rubber mix, I think leather silicone mix for the strap, which is pretty cool. This makes the TicWatch perfect for both casual events and sports. They've really hit a good midpoint here with the design and the way it looks. Of course, me being a uni student, I wear it to school most of the time for the past 2 weeks. Now, I tend to play music with my true wireless earpieces, and I keep my phone in my bag because it's a little bit bulky. Well, this made picking up calls pretty difficult. But the TicWatch Pro immediately shows me who is on the call, and I can pick it up straight away using the smartwatch. I could pick up the call with just pressing my true wireless earpieces, but I wouldn't know who's on the line. So that mini screen on the watch is a real help. The screen is a 400 by 400 AMOLED display laid below an LCD display. Pretty unique design. This helps save battery, but I'll talk about it more later. Before I head to class, I'll usually grab a quick coffee, but here's the thing. I was hoping I could, use the NFC on the watch and then kind of pay my way through, or Google Pay my way through my days, instead of taking out my phone from my bag and all that. But apparently, Google Pay for smartwatches isn't allowed in Singapore. In Singapore, a country that's deemed the tech hub of the region and even has its own local Google branch. It's rather disappointing, to be honest. The watch has the capability for NFC. It says it can use Google Pay, but Google doesn't allow you to use it. So that's a huge bummer. In fact, one of the main reasons why I asked for this watch was for the NFC and to see how payment really worked on smartwatches. So if you're thinking of buying any smartwatch, or in fact any Android smartwatch that has NFC and you want to use it to pay, just know that as of September 2020, Google doesn't allow Google Pay on smartwatches. Come on, Google. Well, looking past that big letdown, the other Google services bring me through my day with ease. But before that, I always check my YouTube subscriber count. So if you like this content, please leave a like and smash that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. So here are some of the Google services that the TicWatch or Wear OS provides. I actually use the Google Calendar or Agenda to check all my upcoming events and all my classes and where they're at. So the Google Calendar is really, or in fact Google Agenda is really useful to me. Tapping on the agendas expands and gives me more information about what the event is and where I need to go, and all those kind of stuff. Whatever that you key in, you get to see it. I'm also able to read people's WhatsApp and Telegram messages without actually reading them. It's like magic. No, I'm kidding. It's basically some kind of bug whereby if you read the messages on your watch, it doesn't blue tick them. Of course, I could reply to them if I wanted to, but where's the fun in that? I mean, fiddling with your watch doesn't seem as rude as browsing your phone during class, but if your prof sees you laughing at your watch for some reason, he's definitely gonna think you're crazy. Of course, I can also use the assistant to help me set reminders and events on my watch, and whatever events that I set syncs throughout Google, and of course, reminders remind you when they are supposed to remind you. Now, all these functions require pretty decent specs, and the TicWatch Pro 2020 does have it. It's got a Snapdragon Wear 2100, 1 gig of RAM, and 4 gigs of storage. The chipset is about 4 years old, but they've managed to kind of utilize it efficiently, and I think even if they upgrade it to like newer chipsets, it's just more of a power efficiency kind of thing. So like you get better battery life. But the TicWatch Pro 2020 already has really good battery life. After a long day at school, I head to the tracks for a short run. Well, I had to try out the watch. The TicWatch comes out with a well thought out health and exercise ecosystem. The watch comes with hardware like the heart rate monitor, the GPS, the accelerometer, the gyroscope, and a bunch of other stuff to help you understand your workout and your body well. The watch has apps like the Tic Health and Tic Exercise apps, which help you understand your workouts better and help you track your workouts or whatever activities you're doing. You just have to choose the right activity and then you're good to go. All your stats, all your timings, all your heart rates and whatever that you need collected, step counts and whatever, it all shows up on the Mobvoi app on your phone, so you can kind of keep track of that. Usually these features or hardware, especially the heart rate monitor, don't come in $400 smartwatches. Like generally $400 smartwatches in other brands don't have that feature. Usually you would have to pay a bit more to get something that's more decked out like this. It's also useful when you have Spotify and media controls on your smartwatch, especially when you're running, so you don't have to take out your phone and fiddle with it and all that. Just a simple tap of a few buttons, you can change your song, change your playlist, and select an artist and whatever. Spotify is pretty good on the smartwatch, so that's good. The IP68 waterproof certification also helps with sports, especially when maybe there's splashing water around, playing in the rain, for example, if you're that carefree, and of course washing your hands, right? So if you get it a little wet, don't worry, your smartwatch can take some amount of water. Of course, I wouldn't recommend going for like a deep sea swim or something. Please don't do that. Speaking of washing hands, by the way, there's an app that actually counts the time of you washing your hands. I think it's about 40 seconds. It's pretty cool. Make sure you wash your hands for long enough, especially during this COVID period. After a good workout, or probably a short one, I head out to meet my buddy, and the watch is still going with its amazing battery life, even after using all those apps and really going through the watch the entire day. But if on the off chance you do hit a low percentage, maybe you didn't charge it the night before, you're just rushing out and all that, don't worry, there's this mode called the Essential mode. That's where the LCD layer comes in. So in hybrid mode, the TicWatch switches between LCD mode and AMOLED mode to save battery. So when you're not using the watch, it switches off to LCD mode. When you tilt it back and when you're using it, it's in AMOLED mode. And of course, in Essential mode, it stays in LCD mode all the way. On a full charge, LCD mode can actually last you 30 days, which is pretty damn long for a smartwatch. And on non-LCD mode, probably hybrid mode, can last you about 5 days or more. That's pretty good actually. But of course, the only problem with the LCD mode is that it's not backlit, so you can't really see it in the dark. You probably have to shine a little bit of light. And if you look at the strap, it's actually rubber underneath and leather on top, like I said at the beginning of the video. So if you're doing sports, you don't really have to worry about damaging the strap because it's I don't think it's rubber actually. I think it's silicone. So yeah, that is actually pretty good for sports. And then the leather on top makes it look appropriate for casual events or even formal events, for example. But of course, if you feel like changing it up, you can easily remove the strap. So it's just like one push of a small button and then you can change it out. So that's pretty cool. Of course, at the end of the day, I head home and I put my watch on the charger. Some people would have it on for sleep tracking, but to be honest, I don't like things strapped to my hand when I'm sleeping. And I tried one night. I actually had both the E2 and the TicWatch Pro on my hands while sleeping, but when I woke up, there was no sleep tracking done. So yeah, I mean, there is sleep tracking. There's a section that shows the data sleep tracking, but I didn't see it happen for that one night that I slept with the watches on. But maybe some of you out there know how to work it, could help me out, leave the comments down in the comment section below. Then I would know how to use the sleep tracker. Some people have actually benefited from it. Like they know how much they're sleeping and not sleeping. So they kind of change their pattern, which is good. Now the TicWatch takes about an hour and 30 minutes to charge. It's 415 mAh battery and it's good to go for the next 2 to 5 days. Like I said, TicWatch claims that it's 30 days on essential mode, but I don't have that much time to test it out. And as far as I've seen, it went 5 days in essential mode. So that's pretty good. So I think it's pretty obvious if the TicWatch Pro 2020 or even the Android smartwatch generally is relevant in 2020. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it's an added layer to an already well thought out ecosystem, which means the benefits you get out of the watch depends on what you need and how you use the watch. And yeah, basically how much you use it and the different ways you can actually use it. Even if you use it just for sports, I think $400, there are many sports watches that are like $400, $500 and they just track your steps and heart rate and that's about it. But this does much more. And if you're buying just for sports, it's still worth it because for that price, you're getting extra features for what you want. Personally, it has been a huge help for me in school and sports. The ability to wear it for both casual events and formal events and sports is something that makes the TicWatch Pro special and really versatile. And it's definitely relevant in 2020. And of course, the price is definitely a plus in terms of high-end smartwatches. I mean, $399 is insane for this smartwatch. So I hope this video helps you decide if you need a smartwatch in 2020. And if you need one and you're in the Android ecosystem, then the TicWatch Pro is definitely a major competitor. I know I mentioned Tech360 at the beginning. I would like to give a huge shout out to Tech360.tv and the people there for reaching out to me and giving me an opportunity with this amazing watch and giving me the opportunity to review it on my channel. So you guys can actually go over to their YouTube channel or their website and check them out. If you want to read a more structured review, you could actually head over to the Tech360.tv blog and read my review about the TicWatch Pro 2020. Of course, if you like this video, please leave a like and smash that subscribe button. If you got any comments about the TicWatch Pro 2020 or, your stories with Android smartwatch, please do leave them down in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm your host, Thiru, and this is Random Review Squad.